I think, speaking in general, I think I can say that I have played the best music so far on this channel. The best instrumental music. When you guys agree, I hope you guys enjoyed all that music I played in the background before the stream started. I enjoyed all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm IWN. We are live for the Smackdown and Rampage review. I got your WWE AEW news coming out of Smackdown and Rampage, and that includes news on WWE booking tag team match and more for Smackdown next week. News on Gunther, Karrion Kross, Ricochet, Triple H, and there's a whole bunch of news on Saraya, known as Paige, in the WWE. And there's news on her even shooting down reports saying that she isn't medically cleared for in-ring return. We're going to go over that, plus the news on Thunder Rosa and Sting set to compete in the Great Buddha's final match. Plus, there's so much news. So much news, I think my head's going to fucking explode. So, we're going to go over all the news coming out of SmackDown and Rampage. And I'm going to go over what all went down on SmackDown and Rampage as well as my thoughts on everything. So, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications so you don't miss all of my watch-alongs and reviews that go live each and every single week. And also, so you don't miss my review watch-alongs. That includes Extreme Rules. Speaking of Extreme Rules, I'm finna go ahead and give you guys the card for Extreme Rules. So, what's going down in Extreme Rules is we got Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle in the fight pin. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. And Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's Championship against Bayley. So that's the card for Extreme Rules 2022 pay-per-view right now. I have my Extreme Rules 2022 pay-per-view watch-along schedule. So please be sure you stop by there and hit the like button on there. I really appreciate it. The live chat is open for that watch-along, which my Extreme Rules 2022 watch-along will be on October the 8th. I'm also currently getting ready to work on my NXT Halloween Havoc thumbnail and background for the NXT Halloween Havoc watch-along, as well as the Survivor Series thumbnail for my Survivor Series watch-along. So I'm going to be streaming a whole bunch of WWE and AEW pay-per-view watch-alongs going forward. The end of this year and last year, or this year and next year. That's what I'm trying to say. So, this year and next year, I will be streaming every single AEW and WWE pay-per-view watch-along going forward here live on the IWN YouTube channel. And that starts with Extreme Rules 2022. So we'll be live for Extreme Rules, live for NXT Halloween Havoc, live for Survivor Series, live for the Royal Rumble, and we will most importantly be live for WrestleMania. I just thought I'd surprise you all. I just thought I'd go ahead and give you a heads up on what I'm doing going forward with the channel this year and next year. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be streaming a whole bunch of new games on the channel as well. I'm going to be streaming one of the pod racing games tonight because I feel like streaming a game tonight. I legitimately have not streamed a game in over like 3-4 months. So, going to be doing some game streaming tonight, right after the SmackDown and Rampage review. A little bit right after. You know what I mean? So, as I said, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get a lot of likes on the stream minimum. This is going to be one of my best normal solid reviews on the channel, I think. So, you guys can follow me on Instagram. Make sure you also follow me on Facebook and add me on Facebook and add me on Snapchat if you want to see more content posted on all social media platforms. That includes my wrestling content, my watch-along streams, all that stuff. And if you guys have any questions, now is the time to comment them, because I'm getting ready to get started with the review here. We're going to go ahead and start right now. As a matter of fact, we are going to start, as usual, with SmackDown. Let's go ahead and pull up SmackDown here on the screen. And I hope everybody is having a good rest of their weekend. I know I am. I can't wait for Extreme Rules. I can't wait for NXT Halloween Havoc. Most importantly, I can't wait for Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania, because I'm going to be live for all of them. I'm going to be live for AEW Gear as well. And I will be live for Dynamite and Rampage every week now, guys. I thought I spoiler you on that one. Yes. From now on, I will be live with a Dynamite watch-along and Rampage watch-along every single week now. So, expect to see Dynamite and Rampage watch-alongs scheduled, along with my SmackDown watch-alongs, AEW Dark, and Elevation watch-alongs. So, I love, my favorite thing on this channel is streaming my watch-alongs. That is generally one of my favorite things on the channel. In case you all ask what my favorite thing is, or my favorite content I love to stream on there. I love to stream wrestling watch-alongs, man. Those are my favorite fucking things, man. I love it. I love it so much because I feel like it gives me more audience, it gets me more views, and it generally gets me more subscribers. It generally makes sense for me to stream watch-alongs, man, to be live for Halloween Havoc, Survivor Series, and Extreme Rules. I think these are going to be one of the best, some of the best pay-per-views that WWE's ever produced, man. Let's be honest, ever since Vince and Bruce was in charge, none of the pay-per-views stood out great. But now that Triple H is in charge, all the pay-per-views, I can say all of them are going to be absolutely fantastic. Some of these pay-per-views are going to be an absolute banger, and that includes WrestleMania. The Rock versus Roman Reigns is happening at WrestleMania, whether people like it or not. I don't think, and I agree with JD when he said this on the podcast. He said he doesn't think a championship match between The Rock and Roman Reigns should happen. I absolutely agree. I think it should simply just be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. It should be a single, normal, typical match. I really do. Shout outs to JD, always being right all the time on his podcast. Yet you got all these geeks that are still shitting on him in the community. Let the man do his job, man. He's a podcaster. He's going to say what he wants. It's his show. He can do what the fuck he wants. Seriously. If you don't like JD's reviews, if you don't like what JD does on Off the Script, you can get the fuck out of his chat. And you can unsubscribe to his channel. If you don't like what he does, unsubscribe. It's simple. He's my only favorite podcaster in the IWC. He's a smart guy, man. He does it better. Nobody does it better than JD does when it comes to podcasting. Nobody does it better than him. Nobody. Not even Sean Ross Sapp. Not even What Culture. None of these podcasters, man, can do it better than JD. I think that's perfectly. I made that perfectly clear here on this SmackDown Rampage review. But anyways, enough with the music, enough with the talk. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the review here. SmackDown was not all that bad. The best things on this week's episode of SmackDown were the Bloodline segment, Roman Reigns' return, and that huge, hell of a fucking banging tag team match that we got in the main event. And Dakota Kai doing what she does best in the ring. That's the only best things on the show, in my honest opinion. I think everything else was a complete fucking failure from the start, from the word go. Braun Strowman versus Otis, did not like it. Liv Morgan versus Lacey Edmonds, barely even watched because it was boring. Raquel Rodriguez versus Dakota Kai would have been a hell of a match if they would have produced it for 5 to 6 minutes instead of giving us a Raquel Rodriguez versus Dakota Kai minute match. I mean, why would we want to watch a 2-minute match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez? It should have been at least 5-6 minutes. There's no sense in producing a 59-second or 2-minute match. Come on. I hate those types of matches, man. It makes me wonder if you guys hate those types of matches or not, too. I know I do. Lame, lame, lame. That's all I can say about those 1-2-minute matches. Honestly, I just want to thank you guys for joining me for both reviews, man. I'm always glad to be here for you guys. It's always a pleasure to be able to stream my watch-alongs, to be able to stream my reviews and produce and go over everything and everything else on the channel. When you're a YouTube content creator, you generally got to make sure your title description and your thumbnails look great. You have to make sure your backgrounds look great. You got to make sure they're straight. You can't have messed up title descriptions and messed up thumbnails, or you're not going to get any audience, any viewers, or any subscribers. It's that simple. You got to make sure your title description doesn't have any cussing in it either, which mine don't have cussing in it. Mine never have cussing in it in the description. I mean, even though I cuss a little bit on some of my reviews, but the title script, my title descriptions and my thumbnails always generally look good. I always make sure they look good, man. And I put thumbnails on every single one of my videos and live streams, generally. I really do. Out of respect and just because it draws more attention. So, here we go with the Friday Night Smackdown review. We're going to start with Smackdown, just as I said. So, Smackdown kicked off with undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns in the Bloodline, kicking off the broadcast. So, a standard promo with typically great mic work from Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman always cuts a good promo. Gave way to a fantastically tense moment involving the head of the table and so-called honorary Usos, Sami Zayn. So Zayn stopped the bloodline from existing and acknowledged Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. So pretty much, to which the top dog in WWE responded by asking why the lovable loser continued to tag along with the faction and why he was wearing a bloodline shirt. So as you all know, I was live for my SmackDown watch along last night. We had about maybe 4 or 5 people in the chat. 4 people watching. I'd love to have more audience though, generally. That's why I tried to make my thumbnails as good as I can, and I try to make my streams stand out and make sense, you know. I'm really trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. I really am. Desperately trying. So, despite being a great heel, there is a certain appreciation and quality that Zayn has created with fans and their fear for the subtly serious, potentially dangerous situation he put himself in, manifested itself in a tenseness we do not typically see in WWE programming. That's true. We do not see that type of shit in WWE programming sometimes. By the time Jey Uso ripped said shirt off, the man, he has spent the last month despiting it appeared as though Zayn was about to catch a beatdown. Instead, Reigns presented him his own shirt, much to the dismay of the tag team champion, and the group left the ring together to close the segment. This was great character work and even a better example of why Reigns has been among the most compelling of any performers in wrestling. He is He is sarcastic and disingenuous at times, sarcastic, disingenuous at times, but always dangerous and capable of punishing anyone before him. Acknowledge me, says Roman on SmackDown. It works so well with Zayn just wants to fit in persona, and the fans ate it up. They pop for his inclusion, a sign that the storytellers have the audience in the palm of their hands. So pretty much as long as the story is not drawn out for too long, this is going to be a hell of a payoff, and one that makes Zayn as a star as he has pretty much ever been in WWE. It was a great television segment to start the show. This was legitimately one of the greatest things on this week's episode of SmackDown. And I said it right in the beginning. I love this, man. I really did. And you want to talk about top moments, man? You don't boo the wise man, Paul Heyman said, drawing even more jeers as a result. Now that Drew McIntyre has another bridge to clear his throat. Kross, let's talk about Solo. Heyman was on fire to kick off this show. We know that already. Solo was sent by the elders of the Samoan dynasty. Okay, I believe that. That's a great saying. Someone had to stop these conspiracies against your tribal chief. The elders may have sent you, but you answer to me now. Acknowledge me, Roman Reigns demanded of Sikoa. I want to also publicly acknowledge the tribal chief, Zayn said, interrupting his associate's exit. You got our shirt on. Why are you tagging along? What do you want? Reigns asked Zayn, I'll tell you what I want. I want you to take that shirt off. You ain't ever going to wear it again because I got you a new one, Reigns said before, tossing Zayn a new honorary Usos shirt, much to the charging of Jade. Jade had that look on his face like, why would Roman Reigns give him something like that? I don't know, man, but something tells me this is leading to the bloodline turning on Sami Zayn. This is going to lead to Kevin Owens coming out, making the save. And this is going to have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens back together as best friends. And it's going to also lead to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if this match happens at WrestleMania, because I think that's where the match is happening anyway. It only makes sense for it to happen at WrestleMania. This should be one of the longest tag team feuds in WWE. And I think they're going to do great. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are always great with their character gimmicks and always great at what they do in the ring. Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb is one of the best maneuvers that he's ever done in the ring. The Usos are even more great. They are getting over really well on SmackDown. They really are. No shit. But we'll see. We'll see whether the Usos will defend their titles against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for WrestleMania or not, which I think will be booked for that pay-per-view going forward. So we got this terrible Liv Morgan versus Lacey Evans match that I did not enjoy. And oh my God, I gotta admit, Liv Morgan's oblivion to Lacey Evans looked absolutely terrible. Lacey Evans' face barely hit the fucking ground in the ring. Barely hit the ground, man. So the SmackDown Women's Champion, Liv Morgan, followed up her challenge to Ronda Rousey for an Extreme Rules match by battling Lacey Evans in a non-title match. So the former Marine prove a tougher challenge than expected. Yeah, right. Sure she did. Sure thing. Sure freaking thing, man. She dominated the action, putting Morgan on the defensive. The champion, though, proved her resiliency and fought back, finishing Evans with a code breaker and that terrible fucking oblivion she did. I ain't gonna lie, that move was terrible. That move to Lacey Evans was absolutely awful. Like I said, Lacey Evans barely hit the fucking ground in that ring. You got to be serious. So after the match, Morgan teased that she did not have the so-called killer instinct to beat Rousey, only to unload on her opponent with a kendo stick and send her into the guardrail. From there, she laid Evans out on a table, scaled the ropes, and jumped off the ring post, driving her opponent through a table with senton. So there was not much to the match itself, but everything that happened after was great, I guess. Nah, it wasn't really great. I'm just kidding. It wasn't really great. No, it wasn't. Don't listen to that shit. Morgan needs some edge. The fans need to believe that she stands a chance in hell of beating Rousey on October the 8th. No, she does not, especially if Shayna Baszler is going to be at ringside. Yeah. Zero. No. So the reaction will be similar to that of SummerSlam, where she was the Floki champion who was booed for weeks after the controversial conclusion of that match. Now, this went a long way in establishing that, and it won the crowd pretty much over in what felt like the first instincts of the WWE fans being fully behind Morgan and Moss. Yeah, okay. That's what they say, but I still think the fans are truly not behind Liv Morgan. Especially after that fucking terrible match between her and Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. I just don't think so. So Michael Cole pretty much put over the idea that Morgan was not nearly extreme enough to warrant her challenge to Rousey for an Extreme Rules match at the upcoming Premium Live event, citing the intensity and aggression of Evans against the relatively subdued champion. Liv Morgan just risked it all to make a statement to the baddest woman on the planet, Corey Graves exclaimed. So this match was not good. It was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I do not want to see matches like that again on my TV. I'd rather see competitive matches. That was not a competitive match. That looked more like a squash match to me, in my eyes, which I 100% think it was, without a shadow of a fucking doubt. So we got the New Day versus Maximum Male Models, another match that did not pique my interest in watching. I did not invest time in watching that. I looked at my phone almost the whole time when I was live on my Smackdown watching. I didn't even bother. I didn't like this match either. The New Day battle Maximum Male Models, Mansoor and Miswa. No, Masay and Miswa. In tag team action next, with Max and Maxine Dupree watching from ringside. The match was a basic one that concluded with Maxine inadvertently distracting Masay, allowing New Day to pick up their first victory in what felt like an eternity. Unfortunately, this was not at all about Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I don't know what's wrong with me today. It was about the gradual split between Max and the rest of the team. He fought to get his jacket off, then slammed it down. Hopefully this leads to the return of LA Knight, I hope to God it does. LA Knight needs to get the hell away from the maximum male models. The maximum male models are fucking terrible. Absolutely awful in the ring. Their gimmick is awful. Their in-ring skills are awful. Their entrance is even more awful. I can't best way to describe to you how awful they are. I just know from watching that they are not good at all. They need to get Mansoor back to his Saudi Arabia character gimmick, and they need to get Marseille back to his character gimmick, back to his normal character gimmick that he had. Or they need to just simply release him from the company if they don't have nothing else for him to do. That's simple. So this leads to the return of LA Knight, which I hope, as the MMM Act is not clicking at this point. Yeah, just went over that, just said that. And further wasting the talented and charismatic performer in his role as Max makes little sense. No, you mean it makes no sense. IWN. Yeah. IWN self, yes, it makes 0 sense. Maxine took a camera from one of the ringside photographers and started snapping photographs. So, which ultimately led to the finish. There's your answer, guys. Oh my God, talk about one of the worst matches on SmackDown. Braun Strowman versus Otis. Oh my God, I about wanted to pick up my remote and change the channel after seeing this. The ring was reinforced for the battle of two big men, putting Strowman against Otis. The monster among monsters and the big host of Alpha Academy delivered a physical battle that featured several power-based spots, including Otis nearly escaping a running power slam and appearing to have Strowman beaten with a Vader Bomb. So the 2022 Hall of Famer was not enough to keep his opponent down. So though as Strowman fought back and delivered a jaw-dropping powerbomb for the hard-fought win, Strowman has looked great. Or no, he hasn't looked great. I'm just joking. Nah, he doesn't look great. He hasn't looked great at all. He has not looked great at all since his return. Is clearly motivated to prove those who decided to release him wrong. Yeah, right. Give me a fucking break. Do you really think anybody cares about Strowman? Come on, man. I know I don't. Anyways, more importantly, fans have embraced him. Strowman is massively over, as evidenced by the reaction from the fans in Salt Lake City. I will say that. That's one thing I will say about Strowman. He is over the crowd. The crowd seems to like him. All those fucking virtual geeks, man. Hey, stop it! Give me a fucking break, man. So, yeah. The fans in Salt Lake City are over Strowman, man. And that bodies very well for his eventual risk back up the ranks in WWE. Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing, WWE. Sure thing, Bruce. Sure it is. What you gonna do when he goes back down the fucking ranks? You gonna release him again? Which I think was the first L in WWE to begin with, bringing him back. That was a major freaking L. Absolute L, man. Even JD said it on the podcast, man. Major L. I did not like that decision either, man. You're not the only one, brother. I didn't like that decision either. I think that decision was absolutely just utterly a bore fest, man. Absolutely terrible decision to bring Braun Strowman back. You don't even have nothing for Braun Strowman to do, so why bother bringing him back? I don't get it. Oh, because his wife, his girlfriend, Raquel Rodriguez, Smiling Raquel is there, right? Is that why you opt to bring him back? Really? You freaking serious with this crap? Come on, man. Braun Strowman is a complete disaster to the men's division, and he is a complete waste of time. I would have signed Bronson Reed over Braun Strowman. I would have bring guys back like Keith Lee over Braun Strowman, man. I mean, seriously, give me a break. Braun Strowman is one of the worst wrestlers to ever watch on television. I'm not even kidding. Nobody is generally a fan of Braun Strowman at all. Nobody. Nobody. I don't know why you would invest your time in cheering for Braun Strowman, knowing how awful his gimmick is and how awful his entrance is and how bad his in-ring skills are. All we've seen from Braun Strowman, we have not seen nothing new develop in Braun Strowman. All we've seen so far is the same old moves, same old gimmick, same old entrance, same old pose Braun Strowman does. Right? He does that, woo-wee, right? That's all we've seen from Braun Strowman. Nothing new. All of the same stuff. He's done all of this since his days in the Wyatt family. Nothing has changed. Okay? So there is nothing to be excited for when it comes to seeing Braun Strowman on television. Braun Strowman on television looks like a blithering idiot, if you be honest to me. I mean, I think he does. So Strowman delivered a dropkick, inspiring awe and catching Otis off guard from the start. The former Universal Champion bowed over Otis. I would have easily had Otis win over Braun Strowman. I think that was one of the worst decisions the WWE's ever made. Have Braun Strowman win over Otis. Are you serious? You freaking serious, man? This made no sense at all. I would have easily had Otis pick up the win over Braun Strowman. Otis is a better superstar than Braun Strowman. He does better moves in the ring than Braun Strowman. Hell, even Chad Gable's theme music sounds better than Braun Strowman's. Seriously, man. Give me a break. Chad Gable is great. I don't know how you're not using anybody like Chad Gable. How you're not booking Chad Gable in any matches, man. I don't get it. So the former Universal Champion battled over Otis and Gable at ringside, then sent later into the Timekeeper's area. Otis scored a near fall off a power slam invader bomb. I hope to God at some point Triple H sends Braun Strowman back to where he came from, because nobody gives a shit about Strowman. Period. Get him off of television. Please. Please. I do not want to see Strowman on my television again. Get him off. I'd rather see his wife, Raquel Rodriguez, on television than Strowman. Rodriguez, as a matter of fact, Raquel Gonzalez, not Rodriguez, Gonzalez is a better in-ring competitor. She has a better entrance. She has a better gimmick than Strowman. Her run as a babyface has been absolutely horrible. But I will say she has been doing some great things in the ring. Her gimmick is great. Her size is great. She's in a great shape of her life. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you're going to hear from me as far as my thoughts on Raquel Rodriguez goes. So we got Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross brawl. This was a great brawl between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. Drew McIntyre hit the ring to address Karrion Kross. This was another one of the best things on SmackDown. I forgot to note. I didn't even mention this. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. I did. I forgot. It wasn't on my mind at that time. And their recent issues, revealing that the two of them will meet at Extreme Rules in a strap match. Yes, I already gave you guys the card for Extreme Rules already, so you already know. Kross attempted a sneak attack, and McIntyre answered, beating him down and wiping him with the later strap. An opportunistic Scarlett provided a distraction, and Kross took over, downing the former WWE champion, applying the Kross jacket submission to put his rival to sleep. So this was a solid, for what it was, it was a solid segment that earned more heat for Kross, improved pretty much how significant a pair, or not a pair, a part Scarlett will play in his success. A pair would be like a pair of shoes. That's not what I'm talking about, though. It also exposes him as a false promise, proving that pretty much his talks of Doomsday are really reliant on her ability to provide a distraction. So, pretty much, McIntyre is such an effective babyface that has worked very well so far, but the feud's success will be judged by the match Extreme Rules and the booking that comes from it. So Kross tried a sneak attack, but McIntyre cut him off and whipped him with her strap. We know that. But Scarlett, this was a moment right here that I'm sure you all will never forget. Scarlett threw a fireball at McIntyre, then delivered a low blow to stop his momentum. And speaking of fireball, guys, I do have some news on Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre forced to improvise SmackDown anger after that fireball butch. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over the news, the AEW and WWE news coming out of SmackDown Rampage after this review. Because I can't wait for you guys to hear this, man. You're not going to believe it. Don't. So, yeah, Scarlett pretty much threw a fireball at McIntyre and delivered a low blow to stop his momentum. It's not often we see Scarlett give talents a low blow. That's the first time I've ever seen Scarlett give somebody a low blow like that. Oh my goodness! I guess Scarlett thinks that Drew McIntyre is not a man. She thinks that he's a 12-year-old. Funny. It says here, "I'll see you at Extreme Rules." Kross accepted the challenge while trapping the Scottish Warrior in the Kross jacket. So this was a good segment. I really enjoyed this. And I hope Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross ends up being one of the best matches on the Extreme Rules card. In my honest opinion, my prediction of the best match on the Extreme Rules card is going to be Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle, more than likely. 92% chance of it being the best match on the card. So we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Dakota Kai, a match that should have been at least 4 or 5 minutes instead of 1-2 minutes. Raquel Rodriguez battle damage controls Dakota Kai in the night's next match. Rodriguez unloaded on her former tag team partner, overwhelming her with her strength. So, pretty much, she was overwhelming her with her strength and size advantage. Pretty much. Because Raquel Rodriguez is a pretty big woman. She's powerful. She's strong. She's the powerfulest, the toughest, the strongest, like Bianca Belair, sort of. But Bianca Belair is a lot better than Raquel. As you've seen on Raw, what Bianca Belair could actually do in the ring. I mean, there's evidence to prove that she's better and stronger, fastest, toughest, strongest. Better than Raquel, pretty much. So when it appeared as though Bayley and Io Sky and Dakota Kai are 3 of my favorites, man. I got some more female favorites on the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Women's roster. I'll name them to you all at the end of the stream. So Bailey and Io Sky may interfere on behalf of Kai. Shotzi hit the ring and uploaded on the former champion. Distraction allowed Rodriguez to score the upset victory over Kai, which I thought was fucked up. Well, straight up messed up, man. Why would you have Raquel Rodriguez do a rollover pin on Dakota Kai for 1, 2, 3? They could have easily have Raquel Rodriguez hit the Tejana bomb on Dakota Kai for 1, 2, 3 instead of a roll-up pin. That made no sense whatsoever. So a post-match beatdown from the heels ended when Shotzi entered the squared circle with Rodriguez and finished them off. So Damage Control is fighting everyone right now, but in this instance, it is somewhat welcome. So Shotzi has been undervalued and underutilized, and if feuding with Bailey and Dakota Kai and Io Sky as a babyface gets her on television, earns her more opportunities, then bring it on. Bring it on, man. I hope my mic is working well. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can. So the partnership with Rodriguez is certainly an interesting choice, given how many times they pretty much wrestled in the months prior to the turn. Letting Shotzi cut a promo that explains herself would help clear up the story, inconsistencies, and explain her change in attitude. Shotzi ran to the ring to make a save for Rodriguez. She did not ride her tank. Hopefully that changes sooner rather than later. Yes, Shotzi Blackheart turned babyface on SmackDown this week. And I think when Aaliyah comes back from injury, she is going to turn heel, which I'm going to have some news on Aaliyah's injury update tomorrow on the WWE Sunday Night News live stream episode 2, which will be tomorrow night. So be sure you have on your notifications on for that one, so you'll be notified when I go live with it for it. So we got the main event on SmackDown, which was the last best thing on SmackDown. This was a great main event match. Holy shit. You want to know how Sheamus says banger is a banger at the banger on Twitter? This was a banger. This was a hell of a fucking tag team match, man. I really enjoyed investing my time watching this. The Usos sought to continue their historic reign as undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions as they defended against the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge Holland, in the main event. Jimmy and Jay worked over Butch, seizing control of the match while the obnoxious motor mouth Zayn talked trash from the distance. Despite the beatdown he suffered early and often, Butch exploded back into the match late, wiping out the opposition and scoring a near fall on Jay that had Zayn gasping at ringside. As Zayn attempted to interfere late, Sheamus cut him off, only to be attacked by Imperium's Gunther, Louis Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. The attack, a precursor to next week's Intercontinental Championship match between the Celtic Warrior and Ring General, provided a dense and distraction that allowed the Usos pretty much to recover and deliver the 1D to Butch for the win. This was a fantastic match with layered storytelling. Butch's best match, Butch's best main roster performance to date, and an angle to intensify the heat between Sheamus and Gunther. So we're going to get a Sheamus, and I got some news on that, guys. We're going to go over that. The news on that match. So the talent involved was off the charts. Zayn and Jay added to their dissension, and the crowd has enough ammunition to question whether the Usos are really ready or really are the best team in wrestling. Of course, the Usos are the best tag teams in wrestling, man. Come on. You serious? What kind of stupid question is that? If somebody asked me that stupid question, I'd be like, man, get the hell out of here. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to let you answer it yourself. You figure out, you watch the Usos and figure out whether they're the best tag team in the WWE or not. Really? Seriously. Who does that? Who asks stupid questions like that? Really? So a great match is enough to warrant a high grade, which I give this a fucking plus A. That was the greatest match. I give it a plus A, man. This was fucking great. Fantastic tag team match. But overall, this week's episode of SmackDown, it was solid. The best on this week's episode of SmackDown was the Bloodline segment. Roman Reigns' return, Dakota Kai doing her thing in the ring, and pretty much the tag. That was it. That was pretty much it, man. Oh, and the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross brawl. That's pretty much it. So that should be enough to tell you that SmackDown was a normal, solid, decent episode. So now we're going to review Rampage. That's the end of the SmackDown review. If you guys enjoyed the SmackDown review, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up on the stream. If you didn't, it's okay. I'm trying to get better with my reviews. And I'm also trying to get better with my watch-alongs, too. So, I'm just getting started, like I said. I am literally just getting started, man, with my channel that has only 437 subscribers. And speaking of 437 subscribers, guys, I am close to 500 subscribers. So if you would subscribe to the channel and keep supporting me and my channel going forward, that would be great. I would greatly appreciate that. I want as much support as needed. I want as much support as possible. Because your support helps me out and helps out the channel out really well. It helps out the channel in a lot of ways possible. And that's what I love. And that's what I like. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Guys, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a little break. And then we'll... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. We are still live for your SmackDown and Rampage review. I just did the SmackDown review for you guys. So now we are going to move on to the AEW Rampage review now. This week's episode of Rampage was really, really good. It was better than the last two Rampage episodes that we got. The last two Rampage episodes that we got were absolutely boring. They were a complete bore fest. So, Rampage opened with Buddy Matthews and Brody King making their entrance. But Sting and Darby Allin attacked them on the stage to get the match going before they even got to the ring. Now, this was a no disqualification match. So there were no tags and weapons coming into play almost immediately. Even Julia Hart was getting in on the action. So this was less of a wrestling match and more of a stunt show. We didn't see any headlocks, mat wrestling, or technical sequences. This was mayhem from the start to finish. They fought all over the stage and ringside area, using everything they could to hurt each other. When it looked like House of Black was about to win, the Great Muta made a surprise appearance. Don't forget, guys, on my AEW Dynamite Grand Slam review, I did give you guys the AEW Rampage Grand Slam spoiler results for yesterday. So if you have not checked out my AEW Dynamite Grand Slam review, now's the time to go check it out because it's still on the channel. It will be on the channel forever, just like all my other reviews and watch-alongs are. So they pretty much followed the stage and ringside area, using everything they can to hurt each other. When it looked like House of Black was about to win, the Great Muta made a surprise appearance. He spit green mist into the eyes of Matthews that sent him into Hart, which sent her crashing through a table at ringside. And thank God she is okay after that spot. I saw news on that. Sting broke free from some handcuffs and hit his finisher to get the win. This was a fun match and had a nice cameo at the end of a certified legend. But it's always hard to judge matches like this because they are so far outside the realm of normancy. This is something you would either love or hate. So great match between the team of Sting, Darby Allin, and the House of Black. So we go from that to Action Bronson and Hook versus Day Magic and Cool and Angelo Parker. And you want to talk about moments from this 2-on-2 tag team match between the team of Sting, Darby Allin, and the House of Black. The Cold Red Allin hit from the top turnbuckle onto King. Looked awesome. King sold it really, really well. The way Sting fell through the two tables at ringside did not look good. His head hit the table that didn't break on the way down. I'm just hoping he doesn't have any lasting effects. So the look on Sting's face when he saw Muta was priceless. It really was. So Action Bronson gave a live performance of Hook's entrance music as they made their way to the ring for a battle against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. As expected, Hook did the majority of the in-ring work while Bronson would occasionally help out to get a pop from the crowd. After a full, fun little tag match, Hook and Bronson scored the win when both men locked their opponents in Red Rum submissions at the same time. This wasn't a match of the year candidate, but it was a surprisingly impressive performance from a guy who is not an active athlete. Nobody expected Bronson to be able to move that fast. This is the most selling we have seen from Hook in any one match. In fact, he may have sold more in this bout than all of his previous matches combined. Bernard and Parker deserve a lot of credit for making Bronson look as good as he did. Those guys are MVPs when it comes to making their opponents look great. So we got Wardlow versus Tony Nese and Josh Woods. I guess that's their tag team name going forward. We got another new tag team in the tag team division. We got the tag team of Samoa Joe and Wardlow now. Wardlow and Samoa Joe took on Tony Nese and Josh Woods in the next matchup. Mark Sterling gave a quick promo before the match, saying he would not be able, or he will not be taking any powerbomb, which pretty much guaranteed he would, in fact, take at least one. And speaking of Wardlow and Samoa Joe, they are on my thumbnail in the background, as you guys can see. So, the match was physical and competitive, but it was also short and predictable. Joe Wardlow scored the win, but Nese and Woods attacked him after the bell. So, War Daddy pretty much made the save for Joe and began to conduct his Powerbomb Symphony. The segment ended with Joe and Wardlow giving a cheers with their respective title belts. Like the cheers emoji in the chat. The disappointment of Sterling's face when hitting Wardlow with the title did nothing to him was absolutely perfect. Absolutely spot on brilliant. Absolutely spot on great. Absolutely spot on fantastic. Joe and Wardlow coordinating their gear was a very, very, very nice touch. A nice touch, nice style, nice fucking fit, man. Wow. Now that's a real tag team right there, man. Seriously. I could see Wardlow and Samoa Joe becoming the next AEW World Tag Team Champions. Who's to say they will? Who's to say they won't? You never know. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Rey Fenix wasted no time getting right to work in this singles match. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Rey Fenix versus Jungle Boy was a hell of a fucking banger, man. That was a heck of a good singles match. These two threw it down like no other, man. This was a match for the ages, dude. They were hitting high-flying moves with seconds of the bell. It was great, man. So, trying to recap all of the action from this bout would be almost impossible because they were going 100 miles per hour the entire time, dude. It was so cool, man. It was, really. They only slowed down for a moment to sell moves here, and there before ramping the speed up again. So the one thing this match displayed is how much Perry has improved since he joined AEW. And they even gave him a new name, Jack Perry. Wow. If that's not a sign that Jungle Boy is going to be the next mega star in AEW, I don't know what else to fucking tell you. So, yeah, this was great. The one thing this match displays is how much Perry has improved since he joined AEW. He is pretty much more confident in his movements, and looks a lot smoother with everything he does. While this match was a great display of their physical skills, the one thing they could have done was slowed down more, pretty much to sell, I'd say sell big spots. So they did sometimes, but not quite enough to please some fans, if you guys know what I mean. So it was a fun performance and the crowd was hot. So that is what matters in the end. So the 25-year-old scored the win with an inside creep. He and Fenix showed each other a lot of respect after the match was over. While this bout was not perfect, it was definitely memorable. Luchasaurus attacked Jungle Boy once Fenix was gone, while Christian watched from the stage. Fenix not real. He has to be a CGI creation that is just too realistic to notice it's fake. Now, that is the only logical explanation for the things he can do. Now, whoever made Fenix's gear did an awesome job. Fantastic job. Brilliant. So it was very, very nice to see some color after he spent most of 2022 wearing white gear. Which is true. Absolutely true. Jungle Boy's dropkick was outstanding. It is sometimes surprising how strong Perry is for a guy his size. He does certain things that require strength and makes them look easy. So this was a hell of a banger match between Jungle Boy and Rey Fenix. I hope we get matches like that on Dark, Elevation, Giant Dynamite, and Rampage every week going forward. That's the type of matches we need to be getting. If we're not getting matches like that on Dark and Elevation, we got a problem. We got a legit problem. And all we've been getting on Elevation and Dark is squash matches every week. I'm tired of seeing those. We need real matches on Dark and Elevation. I swear, if we get squash matches again, I don't even think I'm going to go live for my Dark and Elevation watch-alongs ever again. I don't like them. I don't like squash matches. I'm not a fan of those at all. So we got Eddie Kingston versus Semi-Govera. This was a hell of a match, too. Kingston and Guevara were up next for their match. The Smackdown delivered a promo before the match that played into some of the backstage drama. The Bat King immediately attacked him and started destroying his young rival, while we saw the occasional suplex or some other standard maneuver. The vast majority of the offense from both men was comprised of strikes and eye jigs, or whatever they are. After 3 spinning back fists and submission, Kingston was declared the winner. However, he refused to release the hold, so a referee reversed the decision and declared Guevara as the victor. So the Mad King destroyed the entire security team to end the segment. This was not a traditional encounter, but this was a great way to advance this feud. So this was pretty much Sammy Guevara's next feud going forward. That's what that confirmed to us. So the bleeped Guevara swearing. So AEW is clearly trying to cut back on the adult content in some ways. So this might be the most physical fight Guevara has been since joining AEW. There was very little actual wrestling. This was just them beating each other sensually. Guevara picking Kingston up and making it look easy was an impressive show of power. So we got Jade Cargill versus Diamante. So Diamante challenged Jade Cargill for the TBS championship, but she also had rap legend Trina by her side for support. After an initial flurry from the challenger, Cargill caught her flying off the turnbuckle at ringside and dropped her on the apron hard. She hit her finisher to extend her streak to pretty much 3-8-0. Even though all of Jade's matches tend to be on the short side, it was still disappointing to see this end so fast. Trina ended up turning on Diamante with a punch to the face. She raised Cargill's hand to celebrate with the baddies. That's all I have to say to that. That match between Cargill and Diamante was absolutely boring. Boring. But it's great to see that Jade Cargill is continuing her streak. But she's going to have to, unfortunately, drop that TBS championship eventually. She can't continue her streak for long. We got this golden ticket battle royal. We got Adam Heyman Page, baby. I'd rather say Adam Cole, baby. Then it sounds a lot better. Adam Page was attacked on his way to the ring to get this battle royal off to a chaotic start. The bout finally got going as everyone hit the ring at once. A few Ring of Honor stars were also included, like Brian Cage, Dalton Castle, and his boys. Oh, so Brian Cage is in Ring of Honor and not in AEW anymore. Oh, that says a lot. That says a lot on the reason why he hasn't gotten much TV time. I guess that explains that. So several tag teams tried to work together during the match, but none of them seemed to gain any kind of advantage as a result. Battle Royals are always tricky. There is no way to make them into traditional matches. So it's always harder to judge. It's always harder to judge them. This one had some fun eliminations and a few storylines were added with quick interactions. What I was trying to say is, in other words, this one had some fun eliminations and a few storylines were addressed with quick interactions. So it had more positives than negatives. That's what I was trying to say. You guys get it, though. The final four competitors in the ring were Paige, Jay Lethal, Rush, and Penta. Heyman and Rush were the last two standing and had a bit of a stare down before engaging in a brawl. Paige threw him out to claim victory and a future shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Why they have Adam Heyman Page win this battle royal, I don't know. That's not something I can answer. But if you ask JD, he'll tell you. Notable moments and observations. Jericho selling Danhausen's curse was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, legitimately. Jericho selling Danhausen's curses. Wow. And then the way Dante Martin was eliminated looked awkward. Very, very awkward. Him getting eliminated like that. Wow. And then it was nice to see Brian Cage back in an AEW ring because he hadn't got much TV time. He had a good performance in this bout. He eliminated a handful of competitors. The group hung with Private Party and Matt Hardy. Was a fun moment. So then we got the main event of AEW Rampage. Grand Slam. We got Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks. I think this along with matches on Rampage. Just because of how good the feud and the storytelling is. So the final fight of the night was a grudge match between Starks and Hobbs. The former Team Taz members have been in a highly personal feud for several weeks. That included a contest at All Out. So there was no love lost. Hobbs won their previous encounter decisively. So Mr. Absolute was looking to not only get some revenge on a personal level, but also wanted to regain some momentum with a win. Powerhouse took control early and immediately began bringing weapons into the ring. He grabbed several chairs and tables from under the ring as Starks tried to recover. This was the best match of the night, and that's what I just said. I just literally said that. Literally said that not too long ago. Easily one of the best matches on the fucking show, man. From a storytelling standpoint and how good this feud is and just how great Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks are with their character gimmicks, with their in-ring skills, and with their interests alone. And their poses and everything. It had plenty of mayhem and chaos like everything else we saw on the show. But they really made sure every sequence and spot mattered, which was another one of the best things about this match on the show. After a hard-fought battle, Stark scored the victory and with his finisher to finally overcome his former teammate. Now, does this mean the end of the Powerhouse Hobbs Ricky Starks feud? No. I think the feud of Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks should and will more than likely continue going into Full Gear. I think the last match, I think Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks is going to be the last match. And I think the last match is going to take place at Full Gear. That's the way to go. The Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks, Full Gear. That's the way to go, man. I think that should be the last match, man. So Ricky Starks can move on to a new feud, and Powerhouse Hobbs can move on to a new feud in AEW. And that's the way to go about it. Book Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks for Full Gear. That's the last match and their last feud. And then have to move on to feud with different talent in AEW. Hobbs was good in the pre-match interview. AEW should give him a mic more often. Whether people like it or not, they should. The quick video that played with Stark's entrance was a nice touch. White gear almost always looks cool, but it has to be nearly impossible to keep clean for more than one match. That is likely why a lot of people avoid it. The low blow Starks hit looked brutal. He wound up and went for it. Okay, so if you guys want to know my opinion on, if you guys want to know my answer as to the best matches on the show, I'm happily, gladly will give you them. If you guys really, really want to know, if you guys really want to know the best matches on the show, I will gladly tell you. So, in my honest opinion, the best matches on this week's episode of Rampage were Jungle Boy versus Rey Fenix, Joe versus Tony Nese and Josh Woods, and Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Those were the best matches on the show. And Eddie Kingston versus Semi-Govera. All four of those matches were the only best matches on this week's episode of AEW Rampage, in my honest opinion. So, this week's episode of Rampage was great. Better than the last two episodes of Rampage we got, as I said earlier in the review. So, that's going to do it for the Rampage review, guys. If you enjoyed hearing me reviewing Smackdown and Rampage, hit that like button. Let's get some thumbs up on the stream. Almost didn't even know what I was going to say. Hit the thumbs up on the stream, guys. I would really appreciate it. We are now getting ready to go over the news coming out of SmackDown and Rampage. Or should I say more news coming out of SmackDown and Rampage, because I went over some WWE Smackdown and Rampage news yesterday. We got more news coming out of both shows that we're going to go over. Hassan, how you doing? Zero, thank you for stopping by, man. Thank you to everybody who listened to my review, who watched me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody for being here today. And in case you guys want to know what time it is currently 10:36 p.m. This is a Saturday night. It's Saturday night here in North Carolina. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and go over the WWE AEW news coming out of SmackDown Rampage. We're going to start with the WWE news. We're going to start with the news on WWE announcing big Clash at the Castles rematch for a SmackDown season premiere next week. And I'm going to put on some music here while I go over the news with you guys, because that always helps. It really does. It's great to have it overall has it brings audience and much more things. All right, here we go, guys. As soon as I find that article, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Damn. Where is it, man? Hang on, I gotta re-upload this again. Guys, I've almost found the article. Just hang on. Hang on tight. Don't go anywhere. There it is. Found it. Alright, guys. Here's the news on WWE announcing Big Clash at the Castle rematch for SmackDown season premiere. So it says here that WWE Clash at the Castles was a monumental event, but the show must go on. So one match that stole the show is going to run once again, no matter how high of a bar they set in Cardiff. This is referring to Sheamus and Gunther. So Sheamus and Gunther lit up WWE Clash of the Castle. Fans wonder when those two will pulverize each other again. And that day is coming soon. WWE dropped an announcement today that, well, they pretty much dropped an announcement yesterday, not today. I'm thinking today's the 23rd, but actually it's the 24th. Tomorrow's the 25th of September. But Sheamus and Gunther lit up WWE Clash of the Castle. Fans wonder when those two polarize each other again, and that day's coming soon. WWE dropped an announcement yesterday that Sheamus will put the IC title on the line once again against Gunther. That match will go down on the October the 8th episode of SmackDown. Actually, October the 7th, not October the 8th. October the 8th is Extreme Rules. October 7th is SmackDown. That's what they put, not me. I didn't put that. They did. The sources that I'm reading from did put that on there. Just so you guys know. So again, October the 7th is the season premiere of SmackDown. October the 8th is Extreme Rules, which my Extreme Rules watch along is already scheduled. And again, if you guys go check it out, go give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. You can comment in the live chat anytime. The watch along won't be until the 8th. That's when it'll start. It is scheduled to go live at 6 o'clock p.m. Now, the October the episode of SmackDown is dubbed as their season premiere. Only time will tell if Sheamus will finally achieve the ultimate Triple Crown Championship notch in his belt, but pulling down the IC title. Do you guys think that Sheamus is finally going to beat Gunther? Sign off, or comment in the live chat, please. I really appreciate it. I want to know your thoughts on that, guys. Very, very important. So, now we go from that to going over the next news, which is on WWE booking tag team match and more for SmackDown next week. So it says here that WWE brought a solid addition of SmackDown to the Vivint Arena in Salt Lake City. Sami Zayn finally got accepted into the Bloodline during the show. The Honorary Usos will get physical in tag team action next week on SmackDown. Sami Zayn was confronted by Madcap Moss and Ricochet up to the Bloodline during SmackDown last night. Solo Sikoa attacked the duo. Zayn and Sikoa will team up against Moss and Ricochet next week on SmackDown. Again, In case you guys didn't hear it, Zayn and Sokoa will team up against Madcap Moss and Ricochet next week on SmackDown. Plus, Los Lotharios will take on Hit Rows, Top Dollar, and Ashanti Adonis in another tag team match on SmackDown next week. The match was booked after Garza and Humberto Carrillo attacked Hit Row during a backstage segment. So, September 30th, 2020 edition SmackDown will emanate from Canada Life Century in Winnipeg. I'm guessing, I don't know what the fuck this is. I guess all I can say is it's going to be in Canada Life Century in Winnipeg. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what that MB stands for. So the card for next week's SmackDown is Madcap Moss and Ricochet versus Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Hit Row versus Los Lotharios versus Shotzi. So what is y'all's take on the story? Let me know. Next, we have news on Gunther competing after WWE Smackdown going off the air. We got to talk about that. I really enjoy giving you guys news, man, that you want to hear. I really do. I love it. It's one of my favorite. It's another one of my favorite things on the channel. Streaming my watch-alongs and going over news with you guys. News that's real and not fake. That's factual. News that's factual information. All right. So it says here that Gunther used to be known as Walter during his NXT UK days and had a history-making run as the NXT UK champion. The Ring General lost the title to Ilja Dragunov at NXT TakeOver 36. Something truly shocked fans. After making his way to Friday Night SmackDown, Gunther eventually won the Intercontinental Championship and has competed in excellent matches since then. He also had a solid match against Sheamus at WWE Clash of the Castles following the conclusion of this week's episode of SmackDown. Imperium squared off against the Street Profits and Shinsuke Nakamura. Gunther and Nakamura had a scuffle in the ring where Nakamura won. In the end, Nakamura got the pin as well. Gunther defeated Nakamura in a solid match a while ago, so we have to wait to see whether they will have a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship or not. So what is y'all's take on this? Let me know. Now, moving on to the news on Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre on that fireball botch. We gotta go over that, man. Oh shit. WWE Smackdown included one spot this week that didn't come off as well on television as they initially planned. So fireballs are problematic in pro wrestling, but they keep popping up. This week was no exception. Sean Rossap reported behind Fightful's paywall that the fireball spot was botched this week. The flash paper wasn't ready for television. Okay, so if it wasn't ready for television, then why? Why was this Drew McIntyre and Kross brawl on our television then? What was the point of having Kross and Drew McIntyre on there if it wasn't initially planned? Makes no sense. So the paper, the flash paper wasn't ready for television. And it just didn't work in the moment, so they had to improvise. It says here, and I quote, "We're told that very clearly. The flash paper was not ready for live TV. It didn't work in a moment where it needed to catch enough of someone's face to sell. Word got delivered to Karrion Kross to keep going. Andrew McIntyre improvised the rest of what happened. End quote. It was also reported that the Flash paper was actually brought with the team that took the company jet to SmackDown and wasn't picked up locally or brought with the Brock team. So I guess we'll have to see how things carry on with Kross and Drew McIntyre. This week's spot didn't go off his plan. But it still was on a brutal angle that nobody saw coming. If they knew that the spot didn't go off his plan, then why did it happen? What's the point of having Drew McIntyre Kross and SmackDown? What's the point of it? What was the point of it being planned if you knew the plan was going to fail? Sometimes WWE just don't make sense in what they do. That's just how it is, man, fortunately. Just like the creative. When Vince and Bruce was in charge, their creative didn't make sense. Their stupid political agendas didn't make sense. You know. Things happen, man. That's all I can say about that. What do you guys have to say about it? Let me know in the live chat, man. I want to know what you guys have to say about it. I want to know if you guys agree with me or not. So there's some news on WWE pushing back plan to pull Hulu content as talks continue. Good. They don't need it. They have Peacock. Stick with that. We don't need to be having networks changing. So WWE content has been on multiple streaming services. WWE content has been on multiple streaming services for the past several years. Due to this, not everyone can actually get to see their content because of various streaming issues. Guys, I'm working on my speaking. I really am. I think I'm doing pretty good. I just need to work on it a little bit more. But as previously reported, all WWE content on Hulu was supposed to be pulled on Saturday, September the 25th, pretty much because the deal for next day rights for Raw and SmackDown will expire. Other WWE shows such as NXT, Main Event, Total Divas, and Total Bellas are in the mix to be pulled too. According to PW Insider, most of the WWE content on Hulu is now listed as expiring this Tuesday instead of being pulled on the aforementioned date. Says here, and I quote, the majority of the WWE content on Hulu is now listed as expiring this Tuesday as the two sides are still in discussions on a new deal. Initially, the content was slated to expire today. End quote. Hulu is primarily owned by Disney and NBC Universal, which we all know that, owns the remaining stake. Both Disney and NBC Universal are partners with WWE to varying degrees. WWE has been in a business relationship with Hulu since 12, but that's likely ending. What do you guys think of all that? Sound off in the live chat, please. All right, moving on to the next news. There's Ricochet. So apparently Ricochet believes WWE will have championship-driven storylines after Triple H takeover, which I can agree with him on that. I think it will more than likely happen sooner rather than later. So for many fans and pro wrestlers, Triple H is a pioneer in the world of professional wrestling. After accomplishing a lot as a pro wrestler, he became the brains behind the NXT's Gold and Black brand. Or should I say Gold and Black era. Vince McMahon was forced to retire and step down from his position as WWE chairman. Afterwards, Triple H was made the head of WWE Creative. This was truly what many fans wanted for years. While speaking with NBC Sports Boston, Ricochet discussed the changes in WWE and how the presentation of championships means everything to him. This is what Ricochet said, and I quote, folks, listen up. So I think the presentation of championships have always been important to me from 1992 to 1999. It was all about the championships. You know what I mean. I think there will probably be more light on those, which will help viewers watch it a little better to understand. It's going to be a great product that's going to be put out there. I think everyone's in a new creative spirit, trying to think of new things. So it's crazy to see everyone talk and think about new things. Ricochet has the right to speak and say what he wants. He's doing great. Triple H is using Ricochet on television really, really well. And I think Ricochet could be the next Intercontinental Champion or could be the next United States Champion on Monday Night Raw. Depends on where he gets drafted to. Maybe it's just because everything is new and everything is changing. But I think the presentation is still gonna be WWE spectacular. This spectacular presentation, but I think it's really gonna put some more focus on the championships and being a championship-driven like story. And this is the other thing that Ricochet had to say. So it says that whatever the stories are, will lean more towards that rather than the cartoony character aspect of it. End quote. So that was all Ricochet had to say. Triple H is fully focused on developing WWE talent now that he is no longer an active in-ring competitor. So we'll have to wait and see how NXT will flourish under Triple H again. Do you guys think NXT since Triple H took over? What do you guys think of NXT since Triple H took over? Let me know. And speaking of Triple H, there is some news on him. Yes, there is. So, it says here that Triple H is the creative head of the WWE since July 5th, 2022. He changed the landscape of presentation and things look more synergized now, both in the ring and on mic. Things are looking more better. Things are looking more great, in other words. The team recently announced that there will be 2 War Games matches at this year's Survivor Series, speaking at the same time. Hunter also talked about wrestlers' safety being on top priority in the WWE. While speaking to The Ringer, Triple H admitted War Games has some intense possibilities, and we have seen such moments in NXT since 2017 and included Tommaso Ciampa lunging Adam Cole through a pair of tables with a monstrous air raid crash from on top of the cage. So it says here, and I quote, "I don't think it's necessary if we have talent that gets cut over. Usually you'll see them roll out and they'll get looked at to make sure that there's nothing dangerous. I'm just of the option right now, given the state of the world and the pandemic. And at the end of the day, what we do is dangerous enough without potentially making it more dangerous. When you have guys and women performing at the highest of levels, I feel like I spend more time talking them out of stuff than I do otherwise. I feel like there's always a risk to reward ratio. Is it so big that people are going to walk away from this with that vision implanted in their minds, and they'll need it? Because if you're risking your health and your longevity in your profession over that spot or that moment, it needs to be worth it. End quote. So that's what Triple H had to say when he spoke to The Ringer. So times have changed, but the safety measures, concerns, and solutions are all a part of the mechanism used by the company. The blood era has hit, and it's only occasional that such an era takes place. Triple H emphasizes that the focus is on the health of the performers, as that is the top priority. WWE always ensures that its performers are safe and sound as they put their bodies on the line to provide entertainment as usual. So guys, what do you think of Triple H's comments, man? I think Triple H's comments are spot on right. I think it was spot on great, man. I don't see nothing wrong with Triple H's comment. Triple H is doing what he can to give us better Monday Night Raw shows, better Smackdown shows, better NXT 2.0 shows. NXT 2.0 is in dire need of help. Their shows have been absolutely boring so far. All right. There is some news on the WWE Smackdown viewership, pulling over 2.3 million viewers this week. So it says here that WWE brought a packed episode of Smackdown this week. So if you forgot what went down, you can go back to the beginning and listen to me review Smackdown and go over my thoughts on it. So you guys ready to find out how the viewership turned out? It says here that according to Spoiler TV, September 23rd's episode of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.3845 million viewers with a 0.55 and 18.9 demographic. September 16th episode's WWE Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.086 million viewers with a 0.45 in the 18.9 demographic. The September 9th episode of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.217 million viewers with a 0.5 and 18.9 demographic. September 2nd edition of Smackdown drew in an overnight average of 1.952 viewers with a 0.4 and 18.9 demographic. This was a pre-taped episode prior to WWE Clash at the Castles. August 26th edition of WWE Smackdown scored 2.392 million viewers with a 0.50 and 18.49 demographic. Smackdown was pre-empted in Charlotte, Portland, New Orleans, and Las Vegas for preseason NFL games. They saw a big boost because of that. And the final viewership came in from Showbuzz Daily after the NFL pre-empting was taken out of the equation. SmackDown's viewership was 1.990 million viewers. This is quite a drop from the 2.292 they previously charted. The August 19th edition of SmackDown raked in a lot of viewers. A whole lot. I'd say between 2 million and 2,000. I don't know. They also captured a 0.47 and 18.49 demographic. So August 12th episode of WWE Smackdown brought in an overnight audience of 2.431 million viewers with a 0.45 and 18.49 demographic. We got a few more. So the August 5th episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 1.983 million viewers with a 0.5 in the treasure 1849 demographic. The July the 29th episode of WWE Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.06 million viewers with a 0.4 and 1849 demographic. July the 22nd episode of Smackdown brought in a 2.166 million viewers and a 0.55 and 18.9 demographic. July 22nd episode of Smackdown brought in a 2.166 million viewers and a 0.55 and 18.9 demographic. The July 15th episode of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 1.976 million viewers with a 0.4 and 18.9 demographic. July 8th edition of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.0245 million viewers with a 0.4 and 18.9 demographic. July 1st episode of Smackdown brought in a viewership of, I don't know what this number is. I do not know what this number is. This sounds like a long number. Oh my Oh my God. How about this? That's a lot. This is a lot, man. It brought in 2,142,000 with a 0.5 in the 18 demographic. Wow. Wow, man. That's a lot, man. That's really a lot. It's really a lot to say, too. June 24th episode of WWE Smackdown pretty much brought in an overnight average of 2.117 million viewers with a 0.5 in 18.9 demographic. The June 27th episode of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 2.274 million viewers with a 0.55 in 18.9 demographic. June 10th episode of Smackdown brought in an overnight average of 1.8025 viewers and a 0.40 in 18.9 demographic. And lastly, June the 3rd episode of Friday Night Smackdown in an overnight average of 1.8465 million views with a 0.4 in 18.9 demographic. So I guess we'll have to see if they can pull the ratings up, which they should. Triple H is head of creative talent relations, right? They should. Isn't he soon to be chairman? They'll do a great job with Triple H there. I know they will. Triple H is doing a better job than Vince and Bruce right now. I'm glad Vince and Bruce are gone. No more Vince and Bruce in charge of WWE. No more. What's y'all's take on this WWE's progress on SmackDown? Sound off in the live chats. Please. I would appreciate it. All you have to do is click on live chat. The live chat will pop up. If you don't know how to click. Anyways, that is the end of the WWE news. Now we go right into the news coming out of AEW Rampage. So there's a lot of news on Saraya. We're going to go over all that. As soon as I find it. Where is it? I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. There it is. So, there was claims that Saraya was not cleared for in-ring action before AEW debut. But luckily, Saraya shot down reports saying that she isn't medically cleared for in-ring return. So there's news on that. As soon as I pull it up. As soon as I find it. I'm trying to find it, guys. There it is. So first, we're going to go over the news on Saraya's segment and more announced for AEW Dynamite next week. So Paige made her debut as Saraya during Dynamite Grand Slam this past Wednesday, to put the AEW women's division on notice. She will speak for the first time in front of a live Dynamite crowd next Wednesday. Ryan arrived in time to make the save for AEW Interim Women's World Champion Toni Storm and Athena from Dr. Britt Baker, Toni Storm, and Serena D. Fans will hear more from her next Wednesday. Plus, MJF will be inside the Luxorious Center in Philadelphia on September 28th, Wednesday, to brag about his chances of cashing in his poker chip for the AEW World Championship. Speaking of AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley will take on Juice Robinson of New Japan Pro Wrestling in a world title eliminator match next week on Dynamite. That should be interesting. Should be an interesting matchup. So, pretty much the lineup for this show is Saraya's segment, MJF's segment, Mosley versus Juice Robinson and Chris Jericho appreciation sick. So that's what's slated for that one. So we go from that to the news on Saraya shooting down reports that she isn't medically cleared for in-ring return. Paige was forced to retire from in-ring competition in 2017 after she was kicked from behind during a WWE house show. She remained relevant in other roles for years afterwards, but her in-ring return never happened, which was absolutely sad. I mean, if you ask me. So the first ever NXT Women's Champion departed from the company back in July after WWE decided not to renew her contract for some reason. Some odd reason. After waiting a couple of months, Paige did what she thought was best for her career. This is because she made her debut during AEW Grand Slam, much to the shock of the world. Wrestling Observer newsletter recently reported that Saraya was not cleared for an in-ring return. Saraya took to Twitter and simply told fans not to believe dirt sheets while plugging her upcoming appearance on AEW Dynamite. She says here, and I quote, "Ignore dirt sheet, clickbait, see you Wednesday," end quote. WWE also wanted to bring back Paige after Triple H took over. Let's see what Saraya will have to say on the upcoming episode of AEW Dynamite. What is y'all's take on Saraya's AEW debut? Let me know in the live chat. Now, moving on to some news on AEW in talks with new media company. So, AEW has been under the Warner Brothers brand for the past 3 years. While on the Bench Report streaming app for pay-per-views, now the company is looking into new deals to stream its content. WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston reports that AEW and DAZN, a top sports streaming platform, had discussions about the possibility of becoming media partners. He explained that AEW and DAZN were talking about a deal to air shows in the United Kingdom, but a deal has yet to be realized. DAZN has become the platform for major boxing events. The streaming service has been involved with the wrestling business and had WWE rights in Japan at one point. The presence globally of DAZN is enough for AEW to capitalize. Whether or not the two sides can work together is something we'll pay attention to if a deal is materialized. The company has been earning over 1 million viewers per week for Dynamite following the All Out pay-per-view, which I was live for. I was live with my AEW All Out watch along. It's one of the best pay-per-views there that AEW's ever produced. The momentum will grow as a new broadcast deal in America is apparently on the horizon down the road. So, I want to know what you guys think of that. I think that sounds like a good deal if you ask me. I mean, nothing wrong with it, really. So we're going to go over the news on Sting and Thunder Rosa, and then that'll be it, guys. So, Sting shook the world when he made his debut in AEW back in December of 2020. Since then, he has been featured heavily on AEW television, being paired up with Darby Allin. He has impressed tons of fans since his debut for the company and will compete in a huge match soon. Despite being over 60, Sting certainly has been competing at an unexpectedly high level, and that has currently impressed fans and pro wrestlers alike. He has also taken part in cinematic matches in the past. During AEW Rampage Grand Slam, the Great Muta sided with Sting in the Sting and Darby Allin vs. House House of Black, no DQ match while I was live for my AEW Rampage Grand Slam watch along. It was a very, very good match. Following interference from Julia Hart, Pro Wrestling Noah has announced that Sting will team up with Moore at Buddha Final Bye-Bye, the event featuring Keiji Muda's final match under the Great Buddha persona. So it says here, and I quote, "We are pleased to announce the participation of AEW superstar, eternal pro wrestling legend Sting as the Great Buddha Final Bye-Bye event, which will be held on Sunday, January 22nd, 2023. That is close to my 24th birthday. In Yokohama, Noah's announcement read, "It was the Great Buddha who came to the unexpected rescue of Sting IWA Rampage Grand Slam this week. This incident triggered him to partner with Sting at the Yokohama Arena event." End quote. So Sting and Muda go back several decades, as they were rivals as well as the tag team partners as far back as WCW in the late 80s. I wasn't even born. I wasn't even there. I wasn't even around by then. My mother and father were still around by then. So we'll have to see how the final match will pretty much turn out to be. And the last AEW news coming out of AEW Rampage that I have is on Thunder Rosa. It's nothing really serious. She had some positive things to say about Saraya. Pretty much that's what this news is about. So, Thunder Rosa is the current AEW Women's Champion. The champion has been out of action due to a back injury. It has made her pull out of many matches, including the one at AEW All Out. That being said, a lot has been happened since her hiatus. AEW crowd they crowned a new AEW interim women's champion in Toni Storm. She and Athena were in action on AEW Dynamite Grand Slam when Dr. Britt Baker, James Hayter, and Rebuild decided to take down the interim champion and her tag team partner. It was at this time that a surprise happened, and speaking about it on Busted Open Radio, the current AEW Women's Champion said that she has known Rhea since her indie days. Also believes that she should be ready for in-ring action as she has all the skills to wrestle, which rightfully so, she does. Thunder Rosa is not lying. I've watched Paige's matches in WWE. She is great. She has worked and kept her core intact. She said Saraya's addition will help the female superstars learn a lot, and that will be a welcome experience. She is absolutely right. It says here, and quote, "I hope she is completely clear to wrestle. She is going to teach a lot of the girls a lot of cool stuff that otherwise they wouldn't have the opportunity to do. Wrestling was her bread and butter for a long time, and she knows the grind." Before she got signed, she was in the indies struggling just like everybody else. One of the things that Saraya has is that she has not changed her core. She continues to be the same person that she was before. Really interested to get to know her on another level. So it is going to be a very interesting. She brings a lot to the women's division. She brings a brand, something that is needed in the division too, that you cannot deny. I know Tony does a lot of stuff because he wants ratings. We want to be number one. If you start something and you don't want to be number one, don't start it. But for me as an athlete, for me as a champion, that is top competition right there. On every single aspect, experience, persona, character, how well known she is. She's a star. She has what I want and I'm striving for. Unquote. While no detail has been revealed on what Saraya will make her in-ring debut, Saraya has asked fans to stay tuned for this week's AEW Dynamite. It will be interesting to see what she has to say this week. I can't wait to see what she has to say personally. I wonder who her first heel is going to be in AEW. It's going to be Serena Deeb. It's going to be with Britt Baker. It's going to be with Jade Cargill. It's going to be with Jamie Hayter. Who is it going to be with? Who is it going to be with? Who knows? Who knows? It could be with Red Velvet or Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander could return and turn heel. Cargill is going to turn heel soon. I don't know if you guys saw that report. I don't know if you guys saw that rumor, but I believe that. I believe it's time for Cargill to go heel. I want to see what she can do as a heel. I really do. But what do you think of Thunder Rosa's comments? Let me know in the live chats, guys. That's gonna do it. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for the news coming out of SmackDown and AEW Rampage. If you guys enjoyed me giving you the news coming out of SmackDown Rampage, let me know. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on the road to 500. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you have me followed on Facebook. Make sure you add me on Facebook. Make sure you add me on Snapchat, because that's where I share all my content. And that's where you can share all my content and all my watch-alongs and reviews. Guys, thank you for joining me for the SmackDown and AEW Rampage review. I hope you guys have a good rest of y'all's weekend. And most importantly, the most important thing that I always say at the end of the reviews and at the end of the watch-alongs: stay safe always. I will see you guys in the live chat for my AEW Sunday Night News live stream episode 2. And before that, I will see you guys in the live chat for that Paul Racing game that I'm streaming. I'm actually streaming it tomorrow afternoon. I'm not lying to you this time. I'm actually streaming some games tomorrow afternoon, so make sure you be in the live chat for those. See you guys in the live chat for that Paul Racing game. I'll see you guys in the live chat for WWE AEW Sunday Night News live stream episode 2. Peace. Stay safe always. And stay out of trouble.